Genuine question. Did white women always wear bonnets? It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Sharice, and if you are new here, thank you for joining me. And if you are not new here, thank you for returning. So today's video is going to be about, I'm just discussing a hot topic, a controversial video that happened in the natural space. It's going to be about our favorite topic of discussion. You know, Black women, we love our bonnets. So this is a video about satin bonnets. So I don't even know the first time I started to wear a satin bonnet, but I know it was when I was younger because I've always had natural hair and it's always been a way for me to protect my hair. Since the beginning of time, I have only ever known Black women to wear satin bonnets. And in the video that I'm going to discuss, I'm going to discuss two white women wearing a bonnet on a plane, and it struck up a whirlwind of conversation. There are two sisters, Amanda and Mel. They are curl influencers. I follow them. I like them. And they were going on, I think, a bachelor party, and they did this fun video about protecting the hair while wearing a bonnet. Well, child, please, the internet and Black women everywhere, baby, it was a discussion. It was a conversation. And I wanted to talk about that. And before I talk about that video, I had to ask my friends because I really was, like, honestly, y'all, I was so confused. So I polled my friends who have natural hair. Most of my friends have natural hair. And I wanted to poll them because I was genuinely concerned if I was the one tripping. So I said, genuine question. Did white women always wear bonnets? And one of their responses was, ma'am, this is the first I'm hearing of it. Unless you mean the Little House on the Prairie bonnets, yes. They used to wear them back in the day in the carriage. But I've never ever seen or heard anyone mention them wearing it for protection. And I spent 5 years being surrounded by and living with white women, and a few of them with curly hair. This is news to me. I can't even picture it. Second person I asked said, again, same question. Did white women always wear bonnets? And her response was LMAOOO. Boy, I can't recall. I always remember feeling jealous watching TV and they could wake up with their hair a sexy mess. And my mommy used to make me wear a satin cap. And I polled a few other people and they said the same thing. It has always been a thing for Black women to protect our hair with satin bonnet, and it was always this thing. Even with the commercials that came on TV, white women would go to bed with their hair looking pristine and wake up with it looking pristine. So this is not something that they have traditionally done. And so now we're going back to discuss this video. Anyways, the Black women came together and it was like, my first thing was like, I'm going to the comments because this is going to be fun. And so I'm going to read a few of the comments. The first one was, all the Black women in the comments use me as a side eye button. 2,355 likes. The other person said, I totally get it. This makes sense to keep your hair intact. But as usual, everything associated with a Black woman and her hair always brings about scrutiny. Judgment, insults, losing jobs, being rejected by men, etc. But let any other race of women do the exact same thing and it's cute. It's fun. Black women will be shamed even by other foolish Black women for wearing a bonnet on our hair. But let white women do it and it's cute. Next one says, it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. And that struck a nerve with me, that exact same comment, because last year, the exact same video of me protecting my hair, showing my process, putting on my serum, my scrunchie, my scarf, my bonnet, and the comments were very much mixed. It was like, why are you doing that? I wouldn't be caught dead in the airport with a bonnet. Baby, I ain't in the airport, I'm in an airplane. Secondly, this is how I protect my hair. And I got some looks. I got some head nods, Black women, and I also got this white flight attendant. She's like, oh, what is it? Ma'am, are you serious right now? Anyway, I'll continue to read. And this was by a white woman, and I appreciate our allies so much. This is easy for white women to do, say, but don't forget the social implications Black women have historically faced for wearing bonnets in public. This may be a cute or funny reel, but in reality, Black women have to face harsh consequences for wearing bonnets in public that white women will never experience. And so the comments continue on, like tons and tons and tons. And there's one that says the appropriation is sickening. Not here for this, because if Black women did this, it would be ghetto. Sick of women putting on bonnets, then want to call Black women names for doing the same thing. Stop it. Remember, it's hard to be Black. And so I want to continue on with that. I love Amanda, I love Melissa, but I think they kind of missed the mark here, because yes, bonnets have always been a Black woman's thing. Let me say that, for protection. Is our thing. And it's not exclusively our thing, because you can wear them. It's for protection, of course, but we're not saying that you cannot wear a satin bonnet. But we're saying when you make content like this, it strikes a nerve, because it shows us the privilege of it all. It reminds us of a privilege that we don't have. So I think that was the problem. When you do it, it's a problem. It's not a problem. When we do it, it's a problem. So it really strikes a nerve. You know, there's stuff that we all do that we wouldn't get caught dead in public doing. And I just think this is one of those things that they should have said, you know what, we ain't really got to film this. Because I really think that if you were taking into the account the history that Black women have suffered because of wearing bonnets, you would understand this. Just a few years ago, Monique got up on her pedestal and she shamed Black women for wearing bonnets in public, and that didn't go down well. So that should tell you something. And while I don't think that this post from them came from a malicious place, I do think, again, it struck a nerve that, listen, you guys have appropriated a lot of things, and it just hurts. I think that's the overwhelming feel of it always. I wouldn't even get into the conversation about the natural hair care industry, where Black women started it, the OGs, and it has been, listen, the Black women who has started it don't even profit from it the same way people with looser textures profit from it. There hasn't even been a serious push to include tighter curls and coils in marketing campaigns. Yes, there are some, but the majority of campaigns still are very much light facing and none people of color facing. White women and women of color do not share the same privileges. Even so, even when I look at the brand deals, the formulation of products, partnerships that people who are not Black get, it's a shame, because why don't we get the same love that these women get? And we were the pioneers of this industry. It sucks, it hurts, it's life, but we have moved on. But I just think that there are some things that you should know, you should know to be more sensitive about. And I think the bonnet situation is one of them. And for many people who might come under this post, this isn't meant to, of course, shame, hurt. This is just sharing my thoughts. This is sharing how a lot of Black women feel. And this is sharing things that I think can be done to be more inclusive towards the Black community. This is specifically for people that will come on this and say, well, white women were wearing bonnets before Black women. That's true. That's absolutely true, but they were not wearing it for hair protection, and they were not wearing it because they had to wear it. So let me get to this story. Slave women and the head wrap. Originally, the head wrap or turban was worn by enslaved men and women. In time, however, it became almost exclusively a female accessory. For their white European masters, the slave head wraps were signs of poverty and subordination. Accounts of clothing distribution show that masters sometimes allotted extra handkerchiefs to their female slaves, ostensibly to be used as head coverings. In fact, in certain areas of the South, legislation appeared that required Black women to wear their hair bound in this manner. The head wrap, however, was more than a badge of enslavement imposed on the female slaves by their owners. Embellishment of the head and hair was a central component of dress in various parts of Africa, particularly in West Africa. From the time European fabrics were made available to them, African women wear head wraps similar to those worn by their enslaved counterparts in America. For these women, the wrap, which varied in forms from region to region, signified communal identity. At the same time, the particular appearance of an individual head wrap was an expression of personal identity. In America, the head wrap was a utilitarian item which kept the slave's hair protected from the elements which she worked and helped to curb the spread of lice. Yet, as in Africa, the head wrap was created community, as an item shared by female slaves and individually as a thing unique to the wearer. The head wrap was an object of oppression from one vantage point, but from the other, the perspective of the slave community, it was a vehicle of empowerment and a memento of freedom. Another article, according to Crown researchers, bonnets and sleeve caps go back to the mid-1800s, where European women wore them at night to keep their heads warm. Head wraps were also traditional attire in African regions like Ghana and Namibia, where people refer to them as dukus and doek, respectively. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not, I do apologize. How you styled the head wrap reflected wealth, ethnicity, marital status, emotional state, and other facets of identity. Still, despite being functional and culturally significant in the 1800s, head wraps had a grim past. During enslavement, head wraps and bonnets were weaponized. They were used to visibly distinguish Black women as lesser or even subhuman. Moving on, my last article, then we can wrap this up in a nice bonnet or headscarf. Initially worn by high society women at home through the 17th century, the head covering became a standard in women's fashion by the 1800s. So no one's saying that other people didn't wear headscarves and bonnets. However, as hats increased in popularity, the bonnet became another mechanism to concentrate dominion over enslaved Africans and indigenous people as well as free mulattoes. While the Negro Act of 1735 not only made gathering and learning to read illegal, but also instituted guidelines for what slaves could wear in South Carolina. Field workers were reserved to the cheapest of fabrics, while house slaves were provided with slightly elevated attire to distinguish from their lower counterparts, but not match the quality of owners. The sordid history of the bonnet continued as a specific tool of oppression throughout Louisiana's Forced Edict of Good Government, largely known as the Tignon Lawn. That might be mispronounced. Throughout this regime, Governor Esteban Miro dictated Black women's hair to be tied in a kerchief, a move influenced by fear and distorted by sense of jealousy. A Creole woman enjoyed civil liberties above their enslaved brethren, often interacting with white society shoulder to shoulder. Miro sought to disparage the intermingling of races and curb male lusts. Following slavery's end in America, bonnets were no longer in fashion due to their connection to servitude, though maintained by necessity by sharecroppers and prairie dwellers. However, the bonnet maintained prevalence in popular society as a reinforcement of rank. Cultural figures as Mami and later Aunt Jemima wore bonnets, a symbolic representation of Black women's place in America, one of grinning servitude of their white counterparts. As the journey of freedom continued, and with it so did the increasing complex relationship between Black women and their hair. Innovation of hair treatments by beauty pioneers, including Madam C.J. Walker, in the early 1900s helped to make Black women's hair more manageable. The bonnet became a purposeful tool to sustain and protect texture. So the history of bonnets and satin caps or handkerchiefs can be traced back to, the 1800s, the 1700s. And of course, they were always used as a sign of oppression to ensure that Black women and Black people knew their place. So what we're saying today is we have used a symbol of oppression and turned it into a symbol of something greater, something that we have come to love, and we have embraced it because is what Black people do. We turn apples into apple pie. I mean, that really don't make no sense, right? But you guys understand what I'm trying to say. We have always made the best of our situation. Black women will always fight for what we think is ours, and I don't see anything wrong with that. And we're not fighting to gatekeep a bonnet. That's not what it is. What we are fighting for is to ensure that we're equal to other people. That's all we're doing. Let us wear our bonnets in peace. Let us wear our hair the way we want to wear our hair. Why must we be constantly policed? If they can do it, why can't we do it? That's all we're trying to say. So again, this wasn't about creating division, creating hate. This was just basically pointing out another double standard in our society. Again, Black women, you know, like, when is enough enough? I want to go back again to Melissa's page. She did post another picture of her and assistant in a bonnet, but she also put up a caption for conversation, and she said, "A week ago I posted a video that sparked a lot of conversation and some hate, but I genuinely appreciate all the responses because it revealed the perceptions people have about wearing a bonnet in public. I'm not sure why this is new. Again, why is this controversial?" And then she spoke about Monique talking about head bonnets and scarves in the airports. And then she continued, "This has been a reality for Black women, getting stares and disrespectful treatment by the way they protect the hair. I also get some stares, but it's not the same as a white woman, and there's no undermining that. I can't change the past, but I do hope to reshape future perceptions and proudly wear a bonnet on a plane, honoring the hair, protecting method by joining in without shame. I believe there is always a good reason to protect our hair. The number one reason to wear a bonnet on a plane is to prevent hair loss. Think about dehydrated," and then she talks about the benefits of wearing a bonnet on your hair. She says, "This is a part of my self-care healthy hair ritual. So please know that this video is not meant to be offensive, be a mockery, or appropriate Black women. I fully appreciate and will not to any person I see protecting their curls in public. This video is a fun PSA. And if my content doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. But for many people that the video brought joy and insight of how to protect your hair in air, I'm happy to share." So I think I was good until the last three paragraphs. And one thing that I could be wearing a bonnet on the plane and I could be sitting next to her and someone will only look at me and say, look at this ghetto girl with this bonnet on her hair. And that's the reality of the situation. And I want to read one comment and we'll be done with this. And you know what, this person, well, I gotta read 2 comments, but anyway, I obviously went to the comment section of your previous video to see what you're talking about, and this is ridiculous. White women and Black women can have similar hair that requires similar techniques to preserve. You wear a bonnet every D-Day and post about it constantly. But that's a problem. She can post a bonnet constantly and not be ridiculed, but we can, and that is the problem. It's not something that she has caused. It's society's outlook about Black women wearing a bonnet, but white women can do it, and there's absolutely no backlash. People will find any reason to hate on others. Ignore them. Curly hair doesn't have skin color boundaries. Curly hair absolutely does have skin boundaries. Let's be absolutely real there. Let's be real there. Anyway. Black, white, Spanish, we all share the same hair. That's what she says. We absolutely do not share the same idea. And this is the type of comments that continue to perpetuate like ignorance, because Black women, my hair, let me just give you a real life scenario of my hair. Like I have good hair, what people consider good hair according to the scale of good hair. I don't even know what that means, right? But I still gone through certain things in my life where I wish I hadn't gone through. A lot of times when I would wear my hair curly, I would get these comments. Why you don't brush your hair? Why don't you do something with your hair? Your hair ain't fixed. That's not a professional hairstyle. And this is me having hair that is somewhat palatable to this society. Imagine my friends who have curly, coarse, 4C hair. Imagine the things that are said about them. Imagine the discrimination that they face. So all curly hair ain't the same. Let's be 100% real there. We do not have the same benefit that these people in this video have. Let's just be real. Someone says bonnets are not cultural appropriation, and I want to say that it is actually cultural appropriation. Finally, there was this lady that made a comment from the original video And it says, I just want to acknowledge and lift up the lived experiences of Black women that were shared in the original comments. If Black women felt offended and by your original post, that is valid. If Black women felt like these videos are appropriation, that is valid. We have historically taken from Black women without acknowledging the hypocrisy. I think truly reading through these comments without defensiveness can really help other white and non-Black women understand and be aware of their privilege. Educating others on their lived experiences is not something Black women owe any of us, so it's up to us to stay aware and educated. And that is what you call an ally. That is someone who recognizes the plight of Black women and speaks about it and educates others about it. And that's all we want. But again, ain't nobody owe us nothing. They don't owe us nothing. But at the same time, if you make a video like this, expect backlash. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, that's gonna wrap this up. So I just really wanted to have a conversation about this in general and see how others feel about it. I know I feel strongly about Black women and the role that they played in building the Black and natural hair community that was snatched away from them. All of the opportunities that a lot of curly hair girls, not natural hair girls, curly hair girls get now is because of Black women. And we don't acknowledge this enough. We don't acknowledge that the $1,000 brand deals, the splashy trips that light-skinned curly hair girls are going on is because of the building blocks and the bricks that Black women laid and built the house that other people get to live in. And I don't think we talk about that enough. But anyway, moving forward, I would like to see a more inclusive society that take the needs and cares of Black women into consideration. I'd like to see a community and a world where Black people are used in marketing. You know, show me how this product works on my hair. I want to see how this works on my hair. People who look like me. I want to see us in TV ads. I want to see stylists who know how to take care of our hair on sets. That's all we ask for. Inclusivity. And if you can't be an ally. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I know the comment section may get a little crazy, so I'm probably going to turn it off. So yeah, that is going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, please let me know. If you have thoughts, comments, let's discuss how white women and people who are not Black can become allies for Black women in this space and contribute to making it a more diverse and more safe atmosphere and environment for women of color. Thank you guys. Enjoy your day.